तो लेट्स डू वन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, ठीक है? नाउ आई
Yes.
एम अ न्यूबी इन्वेस्टर एंड आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग, मेरे को कुछ टेक्निकल एनालिसिस नहीं आता है, फंडामेंटल नहीं आता है। आपके माइंडसेट से हमको इन्वेस्टिंग समझना है। यू आर
Yes.
कॉल्ड एज द टेक्नो फंडा इन्वेस्टर, आप
Yes.
टेक्निकल्स भी देखते हो, फंडामेंटल्स भी देखते
Yes.
हो। तो कुछ केस स्टडीज से हमको समझा सकते हो कि आप स्क्रीन कैसे करते हो स्टॉक्स, एंड देन स्क्रीन करने के बाद क्या फैक्टर्स है जो आप देखोगे कुछ केस स्टडीज के थ्रू, कि ये चीजें अच्छी थी तो इसलिए इन्वेस्ट किया, एंड ये
Yes.
चीजें अच्छी नहीं थी इसलिए इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया।
Yes. So I think how I will approach this topic is like a farmer, right? So think about कि आप सब हम लोग सब farmer है, right? Farmer का उद्देश्य क्या होता है कि we sow the seeds and then we want to ultimately have a good harvest and we want to enjoy that harvest. So investing is like that. You know, you have some money, you want to compound that, you want to achieve financial freedom, and through that corpus or wealth, what you built over a period of time, you want to basically do something about your life, right? You have some goals, marriage hai, retirement hai, whatever it is. So think like a farmer. If you want to be an investor in a very simplified way, कि farmer क्या करता है? When they want to put some seeds, will they blindly start putting any crop seeds on the land? No. They will first see the land fertility. They will also see the weather and what is the season going right now. एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे विल कैलकुलेट कि भाई हाँ 3 महीने में मानसून आने वाला है, अभी ये सीजन चल रहा है, ये सीजन के हिसाब से ये क्रॉप अच्छा है, और इस क्रॉप के बेस्ट सीड अगर मैं बेस्ट लैंड में डालूंगा, देन माय crops will have a better chance to come out and I can harvest that at a later point of time. So I'll probably share some slides to show that, because that is how I love to teach. And before we move forward, also there's a regular SEBI disclaimer I want to give as a part of the regulatory thing. And all the stocks which we'll be discussing, please guys, it is all illustrations, so please don't just jump in and buy any of these stocks. Some of the things might have played out already and might not be relevant, but treat it as a learning purpose, right? So this is like a standard disclaimer. So like if you want to start your journey, this is what first thing you have to do. Like where I will sow the seed, and then you validate it, and then you grow those plants, and then you harvest, and then you reinvest again. So when you are starting off, first see what is the broad market condition, that what is the primary trend. Am I in the bull run, bear run, whether I am in the initial part of bull run, where I am in the journey. And then you basically kind of know that what is the runway which you have. Like if you are in the initial part of bull run, you know that hey, my multiples are decent, I am at a lower end of the multiple. If you are at the fag end of the bull run, you know that everything is expensive and the market is overheated and all that. So your intention should be to participate in the majority part of the bull market. Okay? And the sooner you are in that bull market, the better it is. So that is how you make more money. The second very important thing you need to see is कि भाई ये season में कौन सा crop अच्छा है. You cannot put a sugarcane crop in a season where it doesn't grow, right? Even though your seeds might be good, the overall weather conditions is great, the soil is great, but still you will not have any harvest. So you need to ensure that which sector is actually in the tailwinds, where there are some kind of push that is there. And that is what I start with. This is my starting point of idea generation. I'm more like a top down investor if you think about it, but then I also use some of the signals which can go bottoms up. So first I want to see that my overall market condition is great. I also want to see which sectors are really strong, and then I want to identify which are the best seeds out of this sector, because if I don't have good seeds, even if rain comes, soil is good, the crop will not come up. So this is what I use. I'll just show you live of this. So what I do is I want to see price volume action of a particular sector or a company. So what I do is I basically see where there is some kind of signal. So what basically this screen does is, out of say 12 companies in defense, how many companies have some kind of price volume action. Now what is price volume action? That is the second question we will automatically have. So price volume action is nothing but spike in the volume, which you see in the bottom, and spike in the price. Now let's try to understand what is it and why it is so important, right? Any demand which is coming up, like if somebody is buying a share and suddenly the average demand increases, then whatever is the regular demand, the price of that company will spike and the volume of that company will also spike. Now, individually, that is a great thing for a company that, hey, somebody is buying, there is some kind of demand that is going on. But imagine all the companies in that sector, suddenly there is a spike in the price and spike in the volume, right? That's a crazy thing to have, because then, across the sector, there is some sudden demand that is started off. And why we do this? Why we do this is because our probability of winning will increase if the event is not in isolation, if it is sectoral event, right? And I've done a lot of videos on my YouTube channel around it, but I'll show you live examples of some of the analysis which I did back in 2022 in defense sector. One of them was into railways, another was into green energy. Recently we also did on transformer. But let me show you how it works, right? So that it is of practical importance for all the investors who are watching it. So यहाँ पे अगर आप देखेंगे तो if you see defense का, around this area you saw a sudden spike in the volume and sudden spike in the price. It was not doing much for many months and then suddenly it started. Same way if you see HAL during the same period, around September you saw a sudden spike in the volume and spike in the price. Same way if you see a lot of other stocks in the sector, you would have seen simultaneously during that period price volume action starting. Same way if you bring in some more stocks in railways, like some of the stock, let's say IRFC, right? So let's go to the IRFC chart and you can see here. Yeah, so IRFC suddenly started spiking. Then Titagar Wagon, let's say, or Titagar Rail System, how it was that time. Can you see suddenly the price and volume has started spiking in the same period, like July, August, September area. And same way other railway stocks, everything suddenly started blasting. And that kind of gives you trigger that यहाँ पे कुछ हो रहा है. That is a starting point. आपको पता नहीं होगा कि क्या हो रहा है, but अगर आप थोड़ा डीपर जाएंगे, तो जैसे मैंने डिफेंस सेक्टर में डीप डाइव किया, तो उसमें पता चला कि यार PLI स्कीम आ रही है गवर्नमेंट की. They are doing indigenization of lot of parts which are used in defense in India. रेलवेज में देखा तो रेलवेज में नए कोचेस का ऑर्डर आ रहा है. द फोकस ऑफ बजट हैज कंप्लीटली चेंज. नए कोचेस अलॉट हो रहे हैं, नई डिजाइन्स आ रही है. वंदे भारत ऑल्सो गॉट लॉन्च दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. सो फाइंड फॉर अ ट्रिगर बेसिकली कि भाई अभी सीजन किसका चल रहा है, अभी शुगर केन डाले कि फिर ग्राउंड नट डाले, क्या आपको क्रॉप चाहिए. सो दैट गिव्स यू इनिशियल आइडिया. सेम वे ट्रांसफॉर्मर में 1-2 साल पहले सप्लाई क्रंच हो गया था. आप यूएस में जाओ तो 3 साल तक ट्रांसफॉर्मर अवेलेबल नहीं था. सो दैट वाज द फंडामेंटल इनसाइट. बट इफ यू सी स्टॉक्स इन इंडिया, तो काफी सारे स्टॉक्स लाइक टरेल, अपार इंडस्ट्री, ये सब स्टॉक सडनली प्राइस वॉल्यूम एक्शन दिखाने लगे थे. सो दैट शुड बी योर ट्रिगर पॉइंट कि भाई क्या हो रहा है सेक्टर में, व्हाट इज दैट इज शिफ्टिंग इन द सेक्टर. एंड आई विल शेयर मोर इनसाइट्स ऑन क्या देखना चाहिए, बट दिस इज लाइक इनिशियल स्क्रीनिंग हाउ इट हैपेंस. ओके. एंड देन अगर आप लॉन्ग टर्म कोई कंपनी देख रहे हो, तो दैट वाज मोर ऑफ पोजिशनल, विच आई डू सैटेलाइट प्ले, एंड दिस इज कोर प्ले. तो कोर में हम लोग क्या देखते हैं कि यार अगर मुझे 25% कंपाउंड करना है, तो मेरा अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ एटलीस्ट 15 से 20% होना चाहिए. अदरवाइज आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू कंपाउंड. थोड़ा री रेटिंग मिलेगा मुझे, बट ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम अगर मेरा अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ ही नहीं होगा, तो हाउ विल आई कंपाउंड एट 20-25%. एंड इफ यू आर इन द मार्केट, 15% तो ETF और म्यूचुअल फंड्स एंड इंडेक्स दे देता है. तो आपको अगर ज्यादा कंपाउंड करना है, तो यू कैन नॉट जस्ट होप कि भाई कोई कंपनी 10% से अर्निंग्स ग्रो कर रही है, दैट विल गिव यू 20-25% रिटर्न. दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन. So how to find such big structural trend? And this is one of the very simple and powerful mental model I use. And this has been so powerful कि year after year ऐसी companies आती रहती है. So the model is very simple. You want to find a company which is like a small fish in a big pot. Imagine Asian Paints 30 years back, Polycab 30 years back. कोई भी आप सेरा ले लो, यू टेक पिडिलाइट, all these companies, when they started, even HDFC Bank, when they started, HDFC, ICICI, they were a small fish in a big pot. And now HDFC is like this big fish in a big pot, because now everybody is big and they've captured a big market share as well. So if you want to, like, for a long period of time compound at 20-25%, the first thing we should see is कि भाई कोई सेक्टर ऐसा हो जो 10-12% ग्रो करे, है ना. तो पॉट ही अगर ग्रो नहीं कर रहा है, then fish will have a ceiling at certain point of time. Then you want a fish which is strong enough to take away market share. तो जैसे पॉलीकैब, KEI, ये सब वायरिंग कंपनीज आप देखो तो अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्लेयर बहुत बड़ा चंक है ये इंडस्ट्री में. एशियन पेंट्स का आप केस स्टडी ले लो, अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्लेयर वाज अ वेरी बिग चंक एंड स्टिल इट कंटिन्यूज टू बी अ गुड बिग चंक. The thing which has changed is now competition has started coming in, but otherwise the sector dynamics were such that you have a huge runway and you have huge percentage of unorganized player who are there. उसके पास से आप market share ले सकते हो. So if your sector grows at 10-20% and you are able to take a market share of say 5-7% incremental earnings growth every year, that means your long-term longevity and compounding is in place. Then only thing you need is कि आप कुछ ऐसा सही धंधा कर रहे हो जिसमें competition आपको kill ना कर दे. Like you should have those moats and competitive advantages. So this is the framework to initially screen. We do it. And फिर जैसे हम लोग फार्मिंग करते हैं तो सब काफी सारे सीड्स हम लेते हैं. वी ट्राई टू पिक बेस्ट ऑफ द सीड्स, बट सब सीड्स ग्रो नहीं होंगे. कुछ सीड्स वर्क करेंगे, कुछ नहीं करेंगे. सो सेम थिंग इज विद सेक्टर्स एंड कंपनीज ऑल्सो. लाइक एवरी few weeks you will get some sectors where something is really interesting, but not every sector में बहुत बड़ा पैसा नहीं बनने वाला. It's like you put foot in the door. अगर चलता है you average up. I'll discuss that more in detail later on. But अगर वो sector चल जाता है, then it can create a huge wealth for all of us. Right? So that is the game. And if you see now in hindsight, but तब real time analysis था. But if you see now, companies like Mazdog, when we see, or any other companies we see, these have become like a 5x, 10x, right? I'm just trying to portray the power of one sector running in your favor. So I'll just try to do this. So if you see from where this price volume action came in August 2022, 164 ka, if you can go up to like 3,000 rupees, right? It's a crazy wealth creation. And best part is you can trace the fundamentals. In fact, मैंने जो YouTube में वीडियो किया है उसमें surprisingly on government website you have names of the companies, कितने parts कौन सी company को जाने वाले, everything was mentioned. मतलब it was so easy kind of sector to ride. Of course, in hindsight there could have been so many things in between that could have happened. Risk could have materialized. But the best part is there was a lot of data around it, even for railway and defense. Real time, a lot of data was available, and PLI was happening real time. Like one of the PLI happened in August, September, if I remember correctly. Then one happened in December, and then again next leg of things started. And same way, companies like Cochin Shipyard, tremendous. One sector can create so much of wealth. That's the whole idea, if you catch it right.
If you learned something new from this video, do share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel so that we can bring you the best content possible. Also, if you want to watch this entire episode, click on the link in the description box and you can go to Kushal Lodha YouTube channel and watch the entire podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching this and have an amazing day.